Oh, I gotta fix my eyebrows. Hey everybody, this is Father Ethan. Today is National Coming Out Day, and so I thought it might be useful for you to hear a little bit about my coming out story. But the first thing that I want to say is this video is not all about me. Coming out is a very individual experience, and everybody's experience is different. There are a lot of people, especially a lot of young people these days, who still feel really unsafe coming out. They could be threatened by physical violence or homelessness or financial insecurity or any number of things. And so those things should really be taken seriously when considering whether or not to come out. And the second thing that I want to say about coming out is that even though we tend to focus on that one moment when we come out of the closet, it really is a lifetime endeavor. It really is. I mean, we might start out by telling one of our best friends that we're gay, and then maybe we move on to telling our parents or our siblings. But over the course of your life, you will have to continue to come out to new groups of people. You have to decide if you get married whether or not to wear your wedding ring. So the main thing that I want to focus on in this video is just saying a little bit about my coming out process in the church. But I will say that I kind of always knew I was always attracted to boys my own age when I was younger. I dated guys in college sort of on the sly. My mother kind of outed me to myself my senior year of college, which was kind of a mixed bag. I don't know that I was really ready to accept that because of the implications that it had for me. I mean, I grew up in the South, in Florida in the 1980s, and it was not universally acceptable to be gay and to be out, and I really did fear contracting AIDS and all of the other health hazards that we were told come with being gay. And then eventually I got married to my college sweetheart, who was a woman, and then we got divorced, and then I dated for a while, and I was with somebody for 10 years, and then now I'm with my current husband. So way back in the day, in like 2003, late 2003, I was dating this guy, and he said to me, you know, I'm a good Irish Roman Catholic boy from the South Side, so you either find us an Episcopal church like you've been hinting, or we're going Roman Catholic. And so I said, well, that's not going to happen. We're not going Catholic. This is not going to work there. So I went online and I found an Episcopal church about 5 minutes away from where I was working in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, and the church was called St. Nicholas. And I noticed on the website that there was a little text devoted to the background of the priest, and it mentioned that he had done AIDS ministry in the 1980s. And so I thought, well, they're probably, you know, if the church isn't, at least the priest is probably pretty accepting and progressive. And so we eventually ended up going the following year at the beginning of Lent. And so we walked in and everybody was super friendly, and I was overwhelmed. I just didn't even know what to do with it. It was so amazing. And after the service, the priest came up to me and said to me, well, can I have your email address, your mailing address? I'd like to send you our email newsletter or a flyer or something. I don't remember. And I said, well, my boyfriend at the time already gave his address and contact information. And I said, well, you know, we're a couple. And the priest said, well, duh, I figured. And I just laughed and I thought, okay, well, this is gonna work. And then about the third or fourth week in Lent, the priest approached me and said, Ethan, I noticed you're not taking communion. Is that because you're not baptized? And I said, yeah, that's right. And he said, would you like to be? And I said, yes. And I was like, where did that come from? It was a moment of grace. That's all I can say to describe it. And so I was baptized at the Great Vigil of Easter, and then I was confirmed later, I think in July of that same year, and just hit the ground running. And my priest started to get me involved in the working life of a priest, and teaching me about doing hospital visits and liturgy, and I marched in parades and designed a new website, all kinds of stuff. And in the course of all of that activity, I got to know other people in the church, and I remember being so energized when I went to my first diocesan convention, because there were all these people doing these amazing ministries, and they were all just so geared up about it, and I wanted to be a part of that. It was so exciting to me. And so I was talking to my priest afterwards, and he was like, "Oh, you really enjoyed that. Do you think you might have a vocation to the priesthood?" And I said, "Well, maybe. It was just kind of something I was curious about, and so I thought I would just, mention it because, of course, I didn't want to, commit myself too much or get shot down or be rejected or told I was stupid for thinking that," which, of course, none of that happened. And what was really funny about it was as I got to know people around the diocese and in different churches, people would tell me, "Oh yeah, he's totally gay. Oh yeah, that priest, he's gay. Oh yeah, she's totally a lesbian." And I'm thinking, oh my God, do you have to be gay to get into this church? Obviously the church is still trying to come to terms with the full implications of that full inclusion. But having that original environment of support and affirmation was so, so important to me. And so now that I'm a priest in my own parish, that has been a really important commitment for me to continue. Because I remember back to my own experience, and I think about all the people who are still coming into our churches who are not sure what kind of reception they're going to receive. And sometimes these are people who have come out in their 60s after a lifetime of being married to a member of the opposite sex with kids and everything. Sometimes it's young people coming out at the age of 12 or 13. I want to make sure that everybody who comes to us feels that they can be fully and authentically themselves, even if they're not sure right now what that self is supposed to look like. I'm not going to give you some pat answer like, "Oh, it gets better." Okay, sometimes it does get better, but sometimes for certain people it gets worse. There are real dangers. There continue to be dangers, even in this day and age when we have marriage equality. For those young people who are deciding whether or not to come out, the first thing that I would say is, it's your decision whether or not to come out. And you should do it in your own time when you feel you're ready, when you feel safe to do so. And if there are issues around safety or security, if there are ways that you can address those ahead of time, I think that would be really, really smart. Regardless of what anybody tells you, God loves you. God loves you exactly how God created you, and you are a blessing to this earth and to the rest of us. And then this message is not just for LGBTQ plus people, it's also for straight allies. Straight allies can make a huge difference in the lives of LGBTQ plus people. And you should know that every time you stand up for one of us, you bless us. You give us strength, you give us encouragement to be who we are in ways that we might not do just on our own because we feel isolated, we feel endangered. So I hope this message will give some of you encouragement to be fully yourselves, whatever that is like. And I hope that you will find a place of worship, a faith community like the Episcopal Church, of course, plug for the home team, where you can really thrive and you can really bring your full self to that community. So I wish you a very happy and affirming National Coming Out Day, and to all of those who are coming out this National Coming Out Day, congratulations. Well done. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to like, and to share, and I'll see you next time.